And I am not very hopeful for that because of the wording of this tweet, especially this part here when they said, "We see how large this issue has become and are working to improve things," like in the present tense. This is, I think, present continuous. Those of you who are familiar with English grammar, I think this is called present continuous, if I'm not mistaken. It's like they're saying, we are presently working to improve things, like they are already doing something. And I think that's actually kind of worrying, because if they are already doing something, if they have been already doing something for a while, if they are presently doing something, then I think they are doing it too slow, because why haven't we seen the results yet? I think I would be a bit less concerned if the tweet was worded like this: "We now see how large this issue has become and will work to improve things," because that would have meant more a change in attitude from Valve. Like, now we see the size of this issue, and from now on we will work. Because we know that up until now, okay, we have had some small improvements, but they clearly have not been sufficient, to address this issue. So if they are actually saying that, we are already doing something, I don't think that's very, 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 how can I say this? Very good news for the community. It would have been better news if they were like, "Oh, we are gonna do something from now on," clearly doing that. But of course, Valve would not say that because they don't want to commit to anything as usual. So, kinda lame if you ask me. So yeah, I imagine all of you are already familiar with the hashtag SafeTF2 phenomenon that a lot of other YouTubers were pushing. By the way, I was actually very honored to participate, to be invited to do my part in the movement before it started. And it was very interesting, hearing out from other creators and stuff like that. It was an interesting experience. You fellas already heard from me that I created this channel, this English channel, so I wouldn't feel so isolated. Because in Brazil, I'm basically the last large TF2 YouTuber. And I created this channel to not feel isolated like that, and I think it kind of went the way I was expecting. But yeah, I think the hashtag really surpassed everyone's expectations. It was very wholesome, seeing a lot of community creations and memories being shared around, and a lot of good stuff, and seeing how TF2 is important to so many people still around the world. I think it was a very wholesome experience, and it really surprised in terms of engagement. You see here a tweet from Shark talking about how it got 100,000 tweets. At the end of the day, I think it reached 300 something tweets. It surpassed this number here. It was a lot more, actually. I think it was 300,000 something tweets and engagements, stuff that Twitter counts. I know that it was at some point #1 on trending topics for the United States and #6 for the whole world. It was quite remarkable because it even surpassed Fortnite. It surpassed K-pop at one point, and that's remarkable in of itself. So it was very interesting, to see this movement. We got participation from the medic voice actor, from Mr. Robin Atkin Downs here, and it was very wholesome, the tweets he made. So I think everyone enjoyed that experience, of seeing that hashtag evolving throughout the day. It was very interesting. And Uncle Leo is saying there, in my opinion, people are celebrating way too early. Yeah, I want to talk about that, Leo. I don't want to sound pessimistic, but I really don't want to celebrate it until I see an actual bot fix and or major content updates being actually in the game. But I admit that it is very nice that devs actually somewhat acknowledged the issue, even though that tweet was kinda passive-aggressive. They didn't really give us any promise to fix anything rather than just acknowledging that bot issue. Yeah, I will comment exactly on that, Uncle Leo, because I feel the same way. I think that's the kind of like the safe way to go about this, so we don't have unrealistic expectations that will get shattered later on. So I agree with you, my friend, but we will get there. And Rav is saying it was #1 game in trading in Argentina as well. Yeah, here in Brazil it was also #1 in gaming trending. So, you know, it really was a very impactful movement. And I myself had a lot of fun. Let me see if I can find the tweet. Because I managed to do something I wanted to do for a couple of days now. That is to invite the Payday 2 Twitter account to join as well. So we had, you know, the Medic voice actor joining in, and also a lot of large prominent YouTubers. But I will take credit for summoning Payday Twitter man. Let me see if I find the tweet. Here it is, this one here. At the start of the day, at least in my time zone, I made this tweet here with this silly Naruto meme, you know. That I made actually 1 year ago. I did this one last year actually, so it's an old meme. Last year, I noticed that the Payday Twitter account liked the meme, so I figured, you know, I might as well repost it and see if they will react again. You know, it's kind of like, for those of you who don't know the anime, it's two friends, you know, one of them doesn't want to get together to their friends and stuff like that. That's the idea. And I typed in here, we call on your strength today, Payday game. Please come help us save TF2, honorable friends of the TF2 community. And they replied, and after that, they started tweeting a lot of stuff in support of the hashtag. So I think they would join in eventually, but I will take credit for summoning Payday 2, man. That was a lot of fun. It was very funny. So, you know, I think the hashtag was a success, especially because we got a response from the official TF2 Twitter account that, you know, actually didn't tweet anything, I think, for 2 years, something like that. So it was quite remarkable to see them reply it, even if it was a very lukewarm reply, you know, kind of a lame reply that they made it there. So, yeah, you know, in terms of the reply we got, it's nothing remarkable in of itself in terms of the content of the reply. But I think the fact that we got a reaction from someone at Valve, I think that is remarkable enough, you know, because what I was personally expecting, I'm gonna say a bit, talk about a bit my expectations and goals with this movement. Not, you know, like the collective goals, but my personal goals with this movement. I went in on this thinking that we would be able to make to kind of like make our voices be noticed by the whole world. I had no doubt the hashtag would be a success in terms of reach and interaction. And what I thought would happen is we would not get a response from Valve in any sort of manner, you know, like they would simply ignore that and pretend nothing was going on. And my idea was that after that, I would be able to talk bad about Valve, you know, to say they are worthless and incompetent and negligent and all that stuff that I usually say about Valve. And I would be forever justified because we managed to get a hashtag to trending on Twitter, you know, to like showing the whole world how TF2 still is popular and important, and they did not respond. So I was going into this thinking like that, this is my chance to forever be justified in talking trash about Valve. You know, that was my personal thing with it. And I was kind of frustrated in that regard because they replied. So at least I have to wait now a couple of weeks before going back to talking trash about Valve. You know, I have to at least wait and see if they are going to live up to these words, to actually do something like they say here. And I am not very hopeful for that because of the wording of this tweet, especially this part here when they said, we see how large this issue has become and are working to improve things, like in the present tense. this is, I think, present continuous. Those of you who are familiar with English grammar, I think this is called present continuous, if I'm not mistaken. It's like they're saying, you know, we are presently working to improve things, like they are already doing something. And I think that's actually kind of worrying, because if they are already doing something, if they have been already doing something for a while, if they are presently doing something, then I think they are doing it too slow, because why haven't we seen the results yet? I think I would be a bit less concerned if the tweet was worded like this: we now see how large this issue has become and will work to improve things. Because that would have meant more a change in attitude from Valve. Like, now we see the size of this issue, and from now on we will work. Because we know that up until now, okay, we have had some small improvements, but they clearly have not been sufficient, you know, to address this issue. So if they are actually saying that, you know, we are already doing something, I don't think that's very, how can I say this? Very good news for the community. It would have been better news if they were like, oh, we are gonna do something from now on, you know, clearly doing that. But of course Valve would not say that, because they don't want to commit to anything as usual. So, kinda lame if you ask me. And that's why I agree with you, Uncle Leo. I don't think we should be expecting a lot from this, because the response we got was actually kind of like what Gabe Newell already said a year ago, you know, when it was news that Gabe Newell said that the bot crisis will get fixed, you know, stuff like that. It's basically the same thing they are saying again. And I don't want to be a downer, you know, someone that puts people down, but I don't think it really means a lot. But it was remarkable to see them respond. I was very surprised by that. But regardless of that, I believe the hashtag was a success. Even if we didn't have a reply from Valve, just seeing everyone getting together and, you know, seeing the massive support that TF2 got on social media as a whole, I think it was already a success, you know. Just seeing that the game matters so much to so many people, and also to so many large creators that joined the movement as well. I was very glad to see that happen, and I think it is something that will remain in the history of gaming for sure, you know. And also, before I move on to the next topic, I saw some people that were hoping this meant like a new renaissance for TF2, like we are gonna get another Jungle Inferno, or we are gonna get regular updates again, or something like that. And I really doubt it, you know, that things will turn out like this. I think at most Valve will do something, if they do. Valve will do something to try and address the bot issue once more. I don't think this means we are gonna get a resurgence in content for TF2, you know. Would be nice, and there is a possibility that it happens, but I'm not really counting on it. I don't think it's gonna happen. You fellas already know me. I'm very pessimistic when it comes to Valve and TF2, and that can be a flaw in my character, I admit it, but it's something that I simply can't help. So that's how I feel, simply. But yeah, regardless of that, now moving on to the next topic, I saw a Twitter account that's an acquaintance of mine, Bit Crazy. By the way, follow him on Twitter. He's always posting very interesting stuff. He's a modder and also content creator. So if you are interested on TF2 and things like TF2, Valve stuff, you know, stuff like that, then go follow Bit Crazy on Twitter. This is his handle here, @bit_crazy with EY, crazy, like that. So make sure to follow him, great fella here. But he made a very interesting tweet that I think we should all take note about it. He was comparing the tweet we got from the Team Fortress 2 account and the original tweet by Steam announcing the Steam Deck, this one here, that was made on July 15th of last year, 2021. And he mentioned how he found surprising that the Team Fortress 2 tweet had way more likes, you see, than the original announcement of the Steam Deck. And when I saw BitCrazy pointing this out, I was really mind blown, you know, because it's not something that you would expect. That a 15-year-old game that is in dire straits gets more media reaction than a brand new revolutionary concept for PC gaming. And the Steam Deck is something that has shaken the whole gaming industry, you know. When it launched, particularly, there was a lot of social media attention behind it, and Valve itself was really pushing hard this tweet by Steam. So I was very surprised when I saw that the Steam Deck, the first announcement of the Steam Deck, got 180,000 likes, and a vague tweet from an almost deactivated account for a 15-year-old game got more likes, and not like, you know, a little bit of likes. The tweet for TF2 currently is at this number, 221,000 likes. It's a lot more than the Steam Deck got. And you know, that shook me, and I hope it shooks people at Valve as well. Like, they're like, whoa, I never thought Team Fortress 2 could get more, you know, reactions on social media. I never thought that so many more people would care about TF2 instead of the Steam Deck. And if this doesn't show Valve that, like, okay, the Steam Deck is great, excellent, very important product, yeah, great, excellent, go for it, Valve, make the Steam Deck. But if this doesn't show Valve that kind of like they are sitting on a gold mine, or they are sitting on something that can render them a lot more recognition, popularity, and the love of the PC gaming player base, then I don't know what will finally show them that this is good, but this is better. This is what people want you to do, Valve, you know. So I was very mind blown about this, and props to BitCrazy, kudos to BitCrazy for checking this out. It's even more interesting because when he checked it, it was on May 27. The TF2 tweet was still at 181,000 likes, and that number increased a lot. And I'm not sure about it, but let's see if I can see the number of followers. 300,000 followers from both accounts. Yeah, 6.9 million followers. You see, a lot more people follow the Steam account than the TF2 account. And it's not like a little bit of people, it's a lot of people. 300,000 followers, 6.9 million followers. Damn, that really puts things into perspective, because you can see, like, almost everyone who's following Team Fortress 2, at least in terms of raw numbers, liked this tweet. And that clearly didn't happen with the Steam Deck. And bear in mind, this tweet has been standing here for a long time now. It is a tweet for last year, from last year. So that's really mind-blowing. And I hope someone at Valve pays attention to these social media numbers and kind of, like, you know, signals to other people there, hey, hello there, oh, we are having a lot more engagement on this than we are on this. Perhaps we should rethink what we are doing, or at least kind of like dedicate some more resources to this, since a lot of people like this. So, you know, that's my takeaway from this. If Valve doesn't treat TF2 right from now on, then it will never will, and it is a lost cause, you know. So that's why I was saying earlier that I will wait like 2 weeks, because they are working. It's not like, oh, now we have to do something, you know. They didn't say that they will work from now on. They said they are working. So it's present tense. They are already working. If I don't see anything from Valve in 2 weeks, in 15 days, I'll feel justified to talk trash about Valve once again, as I usually do. And if they do fix this issue in the future, after those 15 days, I'll gladly eat my words. But it is kinda lame, for sure. So that's my takeaway from this stuff. But yeah, now we gotta wait and see what Valve's gonna do. And again, if I don't see a solution in 15 days, because they are working in the present. They didn't say they will be working in the future, they are. So I expect this to come quickly. If I don't see a solution in 15 days, I'm gonna go back to talking trash about Valve. I'm sorry, my YouTuber colleagues, because you fellas know that I always believe it is okay to talk trash about Valve. Valve deserves to be criticized. You know, it is justified to say that Valve is bad. That is justified. But I try to respect my colleagues, my other fellow creators, as much as I could during this whole movement, because the idea was to not say bad things about Valve. The idea was to say good things about TF2. And I did my best to do that, and I think I managed to succeed. But I feel like I can go back to my old ways if we don't see whatever they are working on soon enough. So that's my idea here. What do you fellas think? You know, let me know there in the chat, because it would be interesting to have a conversation about that. So yeah.